All right, welcome, guys. So, what we're going to do today, Misha, have you gone to the, uh, well, obviously you have, because otherwise you wouldn't have had the Zoom link. So you can see the instructions for the game.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, and you as well, right, Julie? All right, so what we're going to do, and I'm just going to share my screen here, is you're going to see, this is the first time both of you have done this, I think. I don't think Julie's joined us before, but what you do is just download this. So just click those little buttons and hit that, and you'll download it. And this is a beat that is in 7. It's in time signature 7/4 or 7/8, something like that, which means there's 7 beats per measure. So it's going to be a little weird. So you need to bring it into your DAW and adjust your grid so that it's in 7. You don't have to, but it makes it easier if you adjust your grid for that. And then we're going to try to add some electronic type elements to it, to make a weird fusion between like this bossa nova Latin beat with something that's electronic. So I have no idea how this is going to go. This is going to be a challenge for all of us, including myself. But there's no right or wrong here. This is all about just having fun and seeing where this goes. Now, you'll probably notice the beat itself is very dry. It's very, very dry sounding. You're totally, it's in your power to include any kind of effects if you want to wet it up with some reverb or delay. And then we want to maybe, you might want to speed it up or slow it down depending on what you want to do. But I do want you to start with that groove and just add anything you want. And if you get bonus points if you can add some human elements like clapping, stomps, yells, vocal effects, stuff that has a human feel to it, some olays or whatever you want to do. So yeah, that is it. So what we do, the way we do this is literally everybody just gets off the call. I stay on the call because I stream what I'm doing live for anybody that wants to watch me do it. And you guys go off and do your thing. And then at the top of the hour, I imagine right now it's probably in the evening in Germany, right? Or late afternoon. Yeah. So we're going to come back on at the top of the hour and just come back on using that same Zoom link because it'll still be active. So just click it, come back on. But before you come on, you should go down here and add your idea here and it'll pop up. So put your title and anything you learned or want to keep a note for, and then the link. You're not actually going to upload your idea, your MP3. You're going to just put the link there. So you want to upload it to, Google Drive or Disco or wherever you want to do it. Put the link there. Put any tags if you want, and then this rating is only for you so that you can keep track. So when you go back. Eventually you're going to have a bunch of uploads. If you go over here to the My Uploads area, you're going to see this area where you can actually scroll down and see all the things you've uploaded. And your rating is only just for you. It's just for you to keep track of the ones that you thought were pretty good and what you wanted to do with it. Welcome, Jim. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Cool.
Glad I could finally make it.
We are too. I was just explaining kind of how this works. You just go into the games area and follow the instructions and download this little file. And once you've downloaded it, you're going to bring it into your DAW. Just be aware that this file is the Latin beat that's in a time signature that's 7 beats per second or per measure. So it's going to be weird. And then scroll down here and upload what you have at the end of this. Make sure you check this little box so that the other people can hear it, unless you really don't want anybody to hear it. Then it'll only be just available for yourself. But there's no right or wrong. You're not expected to make a masterpiece within 45 minutes. It will be rough, and that's good. This is just to push you and see what you can do within 45 minutes. So we're going to jump back on at the top of the hour. We're going to get back on the same Zoom call, and we're going to check in with each other and I'll share what I've done, and you guys share what you've done, and we'll talk about it. And it's fun. It's super casual, but it's also going to push you a little bit. So you guys,
do you have a direct download link? Because with the iOS, I only have the play option and the download option.
You mean that this file?
Yeah.
You don't have this little thing here?
No. I only have a play option.
Really?
Same on my iPhone. It's just the playback speed, but no download available.
If you right click it, can you hit save audio as?
I'll try, but I don't think so. No.
What browser are you on? I'm in Chrome.
It's Safari, but it's iOS, and it's the common problem with iOS.
On the phone.
I can. Yep. I can use my audio interface, but then I'll better get off because I have to do some work to record it from one device to the other.
Oh, weird. Okay, well, I'll have to look into this so that it's easier. Let me just add it right now to this little chat window, and you can just download it from the chat window. Does that work?
No, not on iOS. It would work if you shared a link to something like iCloud Drive or something.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Well, that's a bummer.
No problem, because it's a very spontaneous problem. So I'll just hop offline and record it myself with an audio interface and try
this. Try this here. Click that link.
Oh, that's great. It's working.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to resolve that. I guess if you're not in Chrome, things get weird. All right. So why don't you guys jump off and work on this, have something uploaded, whatever you've done by the end of the hour, just upload it and get back online and we'll chat about it. All right.
Yep.
Do a little deep.
See you.
Okay. See you guys. All right. Anybody following me on YouTube, I'm going to be working this through my DAW and sharing what I'm doing. So let's do that. I wanted to look up. All right, so we're going to pull this in. And I'm going to share my sound. All right, so I'm using Ableton Live for anybody that watches this replay. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm about to do on this. It's a weird beat, and I'm going to try to think outside the lines and see what I can come up with. Probably put a bass line in first and go from there. Shoot, yeah. Let's see what we can do here. My headphones on. So I'm trying to think of how I can make this sound electronic. And this is going to be weird. Let's choose a bass sound that is more synth bass related. Boom, dum, boom, dum, 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 boom, dum, dum, boom, dum, 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 boom, dum, dum, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's try this. I'm just gonna carve this in. Bum, 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 bum. Let's do this. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. What about that? That's kind of weird. All right, it's going to get super repetitive. So why don't we extend? I'm going to loop this, and then I'm going to combine that. Mm. All right, so the second one. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, so now we have something that repeats. Mm, mm. Bum, 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 bum. All right, now I'm going to work on the sound. Sounds like a video game now. Oh, yeah. Kind of cool, but all right, so now we want to go. I don't know what mode that is, but that's a cool mode. this very pure piano sound. We're going to get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's put in some kind of pluck or something here. Let's do a short. All right, now we're gonna let's bring a kick in just to see where this goes. I don't know how this is going. And what if we brought in a kick and dropped it in here? All right. All right, let's go further with this. What about a guitar? A guitar. Let's do like a vintage guitar in here. This is definitely a weird genre. While that is loading up, I want to copy this stuff into the YouTube channel. Here we go. So, oh, it didn't load. All you people, everyone on this YouTube stream is waiting for me. So I'm going to have to kind of draw this in since I can't play in real time because this Zoom call has so much delay. Boom. I feel like that. It just sounds. This goes down to a D, I believe. All right, we're going to add, I need another element here. Maybe some kind of polyphonic instrument. Let's try. No, it's not really what I want.
Yeah! Yeah! Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye. Bhaji wale bhaji liye. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji.
Loop that shit.
Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji liye bhaji liye bhaji. Bhaji wale bhaji wale bhaji wale
All right. I will be back in 1 minute. All right. Waiting for the other people to get on. That was intense. Hey,
Hi. Haven't figured out why my password I thought I created still doesn't work, so I'm gonna
Oh.
probably put a link in the chat here in a second.
What doesn't work, you said?
The password that I thought I should have used isn't working like what I thought the password was, and I don't see a forgot password thing on the website. So I'm already logged in on my phone from like before, so that's how I got the meeting and all the stuff. But I can't.
Oh,
access
okay.
my desktop right now,
Um,
so I'm doing a workaround today.
I need to add that button to it so that people can do that.
Because people are old and distracted, Zion.
You don't have a password protector?
Well, I haven't tried to sign in on the desktop. I would have told it to remember it or something, but
Mhm.
yeah. I even have a kid who's going into network IT like a security crap, and I don't know how to do it. Anyway,
Mm. Well, I can send you, I think I can send you a link to,
like reset or something.
yeah, I think so.
In the meantime, I'll see if I can get this. The power went out during the hour too, the 45 minutes. So that's fun.
Oh, that's fun.
And then Pro Tools couldn't connect because its licensing is in the cloud. It was a good time. We all survived.
Uh-huh.
Real
All right,
life
Julie.
problems.
Yep. I created a magic link. I don't know what this does. What does this do?
Sounds magical.
Resend invite. I don't know, to be totally honest.
For now, here's the link to the thing. Should be the link to the thing, hopefully. By the way, 7 is just cruel.
Yes, it is. It was hard.
Mini grid is fine. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, but yeah, live class sucks. But anyway.
Yep. I don't know where to add the forgot password button. I got to figure that out. I don't know where that is. Because this tool, I mean, this website I built from a tool that gives you certain, they call them blocks, which you add in to construct
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we may have lost everybody else.
My problem is that I do these things on my phone in the nice cushy chair. Thinking,
Uh-huh.
I'll remember that. And then I know someone says,
Yeah.
Mom. Anyway,
That's why I use a program called 1Password to just keep all my passwords in it because I can't remember them.
I feel like I've got a Norton thing for this. I feel like there's something I could do with that, but then I don't know. I have to think too hard.
Like, I just want to produce music. So were you able to upload your link?
I put it in the chat. I wasn't
Okay.
able to upload it. I bypassed it for today.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I won't judge you too much. Well, it might just be us. I'm not sure where the other guys are. They're probably finishing things up. So let's just do it.
Comes up fast. I set a 5 minutes left alarm and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Mhm.
But queen of rabbit holes, so not so
But what I love about it is it doesn't allow you to overthink things. You don't have time to overthink it.
or
You
to count
know.
to 7.
Or to count. You don't have time to count to 7, Julie.
I don't have time to count to 7.
Who has time for that? Let's check it out.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Yes, that was awesome.
All the laundry got put in the basket and then none of it got folded.
That starts off so powerful. Hold on.
Hey!
I mean, that's the beginning of a pop song right there.
I was going for like the slow motion lightsaber sound. I couldn't find it, but that was close.
But you know what? Like, if you wanted to take this and continue on, I'd cut out the 7 beat and just keep it in 4/4. Like, keep that beat, but keep it as a 4/4 instead, you know.
Mhm.
And so it's a little easier for people to sing along to, and that could be the beginning of a beat. I like your haze, and
Yeah,
You-
man, 7 just sucks. I mean, I respect like Dave Brubeck and his love of 5, but 7, no.
yeah, it's not fun. I don't normally do this, but I wanted to challenge us.
Hey, yeah, there you go. It worked.
Mm-hmm. Walk me through it, what you did. Excuse me,
Oh,
I'm like munching here.
yeah, have some lunch. Well, let's see. I put the
I can't hear you. You muted yourself.
I did mute myself because I have an air conditioner running. Sorry. As if anyone
Okay.
else is anyway. So I've got that first thing's a splice effect that I reversed and chopped a little and stuff. And then I just triple recorded some hand claps and the haze. And then the synth is ethereal earth.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I don't know, just on a pattern. And then a scratch vocal over the top for the ahs. So most of it was mic recorded, like live.
Yeah.
Except for the synth and the sample at the beginning.
Love it. What did you learn?
I learned that, as I said, 7 is much easier if you go into the grid and just do the math rather than try to play it live for the synth part. Plus the synth sort of, it's not a super on the beat attack, so I had to do a little bit of cut and paste after I printed the MIDI to audio.
Okay, cool. Well done. Well, thank you for sharing. Brenna, glad you could make it, man.
Yeah, me too. Whew. I was over the wire.
That's awesome. Good for you. I'm gonna play Julie's real quick since you just came in, if
Yeah, I
that's
wanna hear it.
okay with you. This was hers.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Very cool. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
love those keys, that synth that came in. That made it kind of feel ethereal.
Uh-huh.
Cool, thanks.
Great notes. Your notes you chose too is really cool. All right, Brenna, let's check yours out. That was awesome. Very well done. I can't hear you. Hold on.
Sorry, that was me.
All right.
I tried to get one of those slow risers in there, but you got to throw it in really fast at the beginning.
Yeah.
Fit it all in. Yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to find where the risers were and a good bass sound, and try to figure out when things needed to drop in. And then I spent some time messing around with the EQ on the bass and the rhythm to make it fatter, which I don't know what I'm doing with EQ at all. I just go in there and move things around until they sound bigger. Right.
That's the best way to learn, by the way. The best way.
Just
Seriously.
See if it works.
Yeah. And then once you do that a few times, then you ask a question or you go to a YouTube video and then you go back and do it more. And then a lot of people try to get all the instruction before they try it. And the best way to learn is you got to try it a bunch and then go get some instruction, and then it'll make so much more sense.
Yeah, like some of the stuff that I was doing, like, it ended up being too overdriven and then, sounding too messy. And I wanted it to be that fat whoomp, 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 whoomp that for EDM. And I couldn't quite get there. But, I think if I had a day, I probably would have gotten to a more satisfying place.
It's pretty amazing. It's very dry. I like that it's dry synth. It's in your face, very in your face. There's nothing subtle about it, which is really good for strong EDM stuff. It's very in your face. Well done. I could take a lesson from you in some of that there.
Well, after I saw what the assignment was, I went and just listened, because I know EDM, but I just went and listened to. I found a couple of YouTube videos that were like the best EDM tracks of 2022. And I just let them play for a minute or two just to get myself in the headspace.
Yes.
And then, when I hear that riser with the beat just suddenly, that I was like, okay, I've got to definitely do that. That is like the signature for any kind of EDM thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The good thing, EDM is so broad now that like what you're doing is kind of what they call big house EDM, which is much more, dance, huge, big synth. But the EDM covers a lot of different other genres as well. There's a lot of chill EDM,
Mhm.
tropical EDM, house, um, down tempo, so I mean there's so many genres and feels to it. I just wanted you to use some kind of electronic stuff
Yeah.
with, I wanted electronic fused with this very dry drum groove and a Latin beat, which is bizarre, but you nailed it. So it's a very hard thing to do. What you're doing is you're trying to create something that you don't even know. Like you can't just quickly go and reference that. You're like,
Yeah.
where are you going to find Bossa Nova EDM? I guess it's probably out there. I should have
It probably is, but I didn't even bother with that. I was just like, okay, this is the beat, and I'm just going to try to get a 4 on the floor kind of just that keeps going regardless of whether you're on beat 1 or 7, right? So that was, I just kind of felt my way through it. So Julianne, I did the exact opposite of you, and I was just like, I just got to feel my way through it. I can't try to figure this out, because if I do, I'll just spend too much time on that.
Mm-hmm.
But
What'd
yeah,
you learn?
this was really fun. And this
Good.
one, and I did the last week's, I wasn't able to do it on Saturday because I had a gig, but I did it on
No problem.
Sunday timed. And both times now I've tried not to use loops on anything. And so that was more fun. But this one I ended up having to use a riser that was a loop because I just didn't have time to create my own.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's good. See, I am a huge proponent in using loops and anything you have to construct and compose what you're doing, because you can always go back and redo it and say, okay, I want to replace that sample now with something more, I'm going to dial it in or whatever, or I don't want to use any samples I've used, if you're going to end up publishing it. But it keeps that momentum. Momentum to me is everything. And if I lose momentum, man, it's so hard to get back into the song.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. And I felt the same way. Like if I spend too much time fiddling around trying to find a bass sound, then I've forgotten what I want to play. So a lot of the time I will just play it with whatever bass is there, play the riff that I want, and then I'll go find the right sound for it.
Yes.
Because at least then I don't lose the melodic track that I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so
This
so
is fun.
wide.
This is fun.
Oh, good. When we have it, I'll show you guys what I did, and then we'll go back. I'd love to listen to your other one if that's okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Which game was it? The frog one?
The frog one. That was so much fun. I loved that one.
Julie's like, what are you talking
I'm
about?
sad I missed a frog one. I actually had a sample of some frogs that I put a hip hop beat once. Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did on this one.
Yeah.
But we can go back and check it out. All right, hold on. There we go.
How cool. I love that bouncy bass, first of all, super bouncy.
Oh yeah, it's very bouncy. Yeah.
But the vocal thing that you put in there made it sound very like Middle Eastern rather than Bossa Nova.
I know. I was looking for something Latin, and it ended up sounding Middle Eastern.
Yeah, it was great though. It gave it a different flavor.
Yeah.
Total fusion.
Yeah. And actually he's repeating on the 8th bar. So he's in da 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 da, and the beat's already started again. So you get this, I think they call that a hemiola, where you've got 2 beats overlapping, but they're not lining up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do that for like 3 times, and then I force them to line up. And then So it's kind of a weird rhythm trick there.
Where do you get vocal stuff like that?
That one I got from Splice. I just got in Splice and looked up samples of people yelling, and then I chopped it up and kind of put it in.
So Splice, I think I need to get Splice. I don't
Yeah.
have it, and it's I still got so much stuff to go through, but
Just promise yourself if you use Splice that you will replace your samples with something, or you'll muck them to the point of unrecognizable if you ever use them.
yeah.
Because if you start leaning on Splice to give you things and then you forget to do that,
Yeah.
you can really get dinged.
Yeah, that could be scary. You can everybody else is using the same sample, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't get that.
Yep. And then we sound like we're all copying each other.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, thanks. I put that low guitar in there, that which is kind of the James Bond guitar. So it's a fusion of about 18 things.
I liked it a lot because it started off feeling one way and then continued to progress.
Yeah, I want to hear it one more time real quick.
It's like James Bond goes to Morocco.
So, yeah, I don't know what it is, but as Julie said, it's you throw all the laundry at the wall and you intend to go back and fold it later.
Right, right. Oh, that's
So,
great.
Anyway. All right. Let's check out the frog game.
Yeah.
Frogscape. This is actually one of the guys that usually is here named Greg. He actually recorded this sample from his
okay,
pond.
that's cool.
Yeah. So he was a long sample, but it's just, and basically the game was do anything you want with it,
Yeah.
Wow, we have quite a few on this one.
Yeah.
So Brenna, let's check out yours. Dang, that was really good.
I'm a child of the 80s.
I love it, man. I love it. It's so in right now too.
It really is. It felt kind of Stranger Things-ish to me,
Yeah.
with that. But I was trying to figure out what to do with it, and I figured I would just take the cue of the rhythm and the melody that was already there, and just change it into something else, rather than try to make it like an ambient sound behind something, because that would require me to do more. More having to compose an entire thing. So I was just like, I'll steal what they're doing. And
It's really good.
oh, thanks.
It's really good. Very, very interesting. I love that, just the beginning of that dun 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 dun, dun,
Yeah.
That bass synth that's just holding those legato notes are really cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I
Thanks.
love it.
I enjoy
Uh,
it. Yeah.
Good. Did you do any other ones?
The only other one was the first one I did, which was the week before. What was that? The marching one.
March Madness.
Yeah, yeah, that was.
Julie, you got to catch up with Brenna here.
Hey.
Yeah, well, because the Marching Madness was the first time I did it like with the group at the time. And I'm just beginning with production. Like I've done a lot of junior producing, but not much producing on my own. So I'm trying to kind of explore as much as I can so I can get my sea legs. So that then when I start getting into the more complicated stuff about mixing, you know.
This is this is so valuable what you're doing right now. By just getting you're on the hook by doing this every week with us, man. Even if you just do it once a week, it's
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to.
That's really awesome. Did you play a lot of those instruments? Or
Not
the
not the fiddle thing, that was a loop, but the other instruments I played, yeah.
What are those?
I took a sitar, I think, or a zither and put it down a couple of octaves to make a bass line.
Okay.
And then it was just, I can't remember, it was some kind of world music instrument from just basic Logic instruments. So
But they're all VSTs, that none of them were real.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all just.
I was going to say, I'm like, you got a zither lying around.
Yeah.
I have some of those, but I don't play them. They just sit around and look pretty. No, yeah, all of that was just stuff that was on the MIDI keyboard.
So cool.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that's a good fusion one as well.
Yeah.
Vibe.
I
Yeah.
have to say, I really appreciate all of this because it's given me something to carve out time to do and know that I've got an hour and nothing can disturb me and I'm just going to do that stuff. And because during the week, I have my day job. And so I don't always have the time. And I've done similar things like in the past I did with my collaborator. We did a song a day challenge and we just wrote a song a day for 4 or 5 months. And it didn't have to be a good song. It just had to be a song. And so sometimes it was a song about my dog's fur. It was just whatever happened to come up.
That's really
and
good.
forcing myself to do it regularly and having that time on my calendar really made a difference in me showing up and getting better. So the same thing is true for this. I've got to start scheduling time for just production.
I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Have you guys read this book, The Practice?
No, but I'm gonna
Check it out.
You know what I'm ordering today.
Yeah, I started with the audiobook, but then I ended up buying the real book.
Okay.
But it is this book changed my life this year. And,
Oh, wow.
and it's learning to treat your music effort as your client is the music itself. Your client is not
That's
who buys it.
interesting.
It's changing your perspective. So you're serving your practice because you love it, because you believe in it, because you want to express yourself and get good at it so you can give that to the world. It's a generous act to give your talent to the world. And by treating it that way, it changes the way you think of it. Instead of always thinking about who's going to like this,
Mhm.
you're not thinking of that. You can find somebody afterwards. You can figure out if it works for somebody,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, you're not driven by anybody's validation of it anymore. And
That's really interesting. You know, just creating for creativity's sake, just for the sake of the music itself. Because that's something that, you know, especially when you're trying to you're thinking of the client and who wants, you know, who's going to want an 80s song being covered in a 60s Motown style, right? You know, but maybe some people do. And but it doesn't matter. Like, I keep pointing to the fact that there is a commercial out there for Panda Express, and it's got a Chinese version of Ring of Fire. And I'm like, who would have thought that a Chinese version of Ring of Fire would have been needed for an ad, but it was. And so if that can be placed, anything can be placed.
yeah, exactly.
So just make the music you want to do. So that I'll definitely be getting this book.
It is life-changing. So this whole, in fact, his whole story, the reason why I call this On the Hook is he talks about how a lot of artists they avoid being on the hook for anything because they don't like the pressure. They want to be artistic. They feel like they're being like stifled if they're on the hook to be on it. But it's actually when you're on the hook that you are driven to learn. And on the hook doesn't mean you have to have a client. You can be on the hook for yourself. And that's what this class is all about. The other cool thing about it is the analogy is the phrase on the hook. Most people think of it as fishing, but it actually comes from a Turkish tradition. When you go to a bakery in Turkey, even to this day, and you buy a loaf of bread, they encourage you to buy two and put one of them on the hook. And the hook is for poor people to come in and get a loaf of bread.
Okay.
And yeah, and so it's by being on the hook, it means somebody's counting on you to be generous. Somebody's counting on you to think of them. And there's a responsibility there, but that's what drives us to be better with what our practice is. It's a beautiful story. I have it. If you look up on our website, I talk about it in, there's an about area on the page, and you can listen to the interview with Seth Godin, the guy that wrote this book. And I kind of summarized it here, but it's a really beautiful story. And I was kind of headed down this way anyway earlier this year, because I realized that I hadn't written a song in about a year. And I was had COVID in January, and I was sitting watching a Steelers game, a playoff game. And I heard a song as they were kind of getting ready to go to commercial. The commentators were talking about, whatever, Ben Roethlisberger throwing the football or whatever. And I heard a song playing in the background. I'm like, man, that sounds so familiar. And so I rewound it. I'm like, how do I know that? Is that in my playlist? Rewound it.
Is it your song?
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck. Why I haven't written a song in a year, and one of my songs just got placed in a live playoff football game. I mean, it's in the background. It's not like it's a huge featured song. And it's one I sold mostly. I only own like a quarter of a songwriter percent. It's not even one I almost sold outright, which I won't do it again. But it was such a testimony that I got to get back into this. So I started thinking about, how do I get into this in such a way that it's not so intimidating? Because the whole sync thing kind of became intimidating, trying to figure out, and it's a moving target. By the time you finish this genre and this song, nobody's looking for that anymore. And they're looking for this every year. And it's just maddening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to burn out doing this. This is not fun the way I'm going about it. So I was starting to put together like my own version of the practice. And I came across this interview that you can see on the About page. And so I bought the book, and it was like God, the universe, or whatever, just like exploding in my brain, saying, this is what you need to be doing. And you need to see if other people want to join you in this, So I just said, I'm going to do this for myself. And if other people want to do it with me, it's so much more fun to have you guys with me, because I learned from you. I'm like, I should have thought of that. Or, that's cool. That's a different take. I wouldn't have. I'd constantly do that.
It's so much better when there are other people around and you have that. Have you read that book, Atomic Habits?
Yes.
So because it kind of marries with this. It's like Seth's book is, and I haven't read it yet, but what you're telling me about it seems like kind of the more spiritual, motivational side of it. And Atomic Habits is very practical, but it doesn't get into kind of the inner workings of why you do what you do, why you want to work on this habit or that habit. And I found that like Atomic Habits changed my life earlier. I've started habits that have been going since the second day of January, and just haven't stopped. And like I've been doing yoga every day since January 2nd, and meditation almost every day since January 2nd. And it's all because of that book and telling me you've got to make it so that it's urgent, it's timely, it's something that you're showing up, it's easy to do, it's right in your face.
Make it easy. Yeah.
And that's getting the reminders in the email about this game coming up. And today I had asked my collaborator Tony Serzo to do it with me. I guess he ended up not being able to do it, but like just inviting other people to do it, and knowing that there are going to be other people there to listen and hear what they're doing, all of that makes it so much more enticing, right?
Totally. Yeah. And the fact that we have such a limited amount of time takes the pressure off of you making something incredible. Even though I think you guys' work is already incredible for just an hour, that's amazing. But it takes the pressure off. It's like, hey, if all I get in here is my grid to line up and maybe a swell, and then I hit render, at least I tried and I moved forward, and I was on the hook to do that. And I love that because there's no right or wrong. There's no client on the other side of this conversation saying, that's not what we want. It's like, no, this is exactly what we want right here.
Yeah.
Do it again, do it again, do it again,
And it also, I think it helps. I'm doing I was the only producer in 3 songwriting carousels this month. So I'm like, so July 31st, there's supposed to be so as far as cutting out the fat and getting to the point, when I'm sitting down, I've got an hour. What needs to happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
What rabbit holes can I not go down? What can wait till tomorrow? What's on the schedule for today, and stick to it. So
Yep. You don't have time to dial in that snare drum,
Right.
I used voice percussion for a disco cymbal hi-hat the other day.
Oh, wow.
It was faster. I mean, I'll probably replace it, but maybe not. Who knows? I was in a hurry.
That's
great.
thinking on your feet,
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think that's right. When you have, that's like, to me, when I was starting this track in particular, I was like, I just got to get these elements. I know I want these elements. Everything else, like the synth at the end, was the last minute, right? Literally, I pulled a synth out of Alchemy and boom, played that. And that was that, because I didn't have time. I don't mix or anything, and it doesn't matter. It's just being able to just do what you do, and then you're fine.
And what you will end up doing without realizing is you actually are learning to mix, even though that's not your priority. You'll be saying, that's a little hot there, or I'm going to push that over so the guitar can come in. And you're actually doing those little mixing motions, the basic ones, just leveling, panning. And then I always throw ozone on at the very end and just throw it on a preset, or just have it analyze it real quick and give me something. I don't overthink it.
That. I don't have ozone, but I need something like that. Right now I'm just Logic
it's
and
okay.
plugins, but
yeah. When you get there, when you're ready, you get there.
Like there's a Maxim is in Pro Tools. So I keep a limiter and then some ozone. I don't think I have ozone activated, but it's in the template. But it's always going through the limiters, so at least it's boosted.
Boosting it.
If something's weird, I'll notice earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Just be aware that a lot of those mastering plugins, like the L1 Maximizer by Waves and Ozone, they take a lot of CPU, and it'll make everything sound real delayed. Like if you're trying to place something in, you're going to get a massive delay. So I put it on at the very end when I'm ready to render. If you're trying to play things in and you're getting that terrible delay, it's undoable. I mean, you can't even do it. It's terrible. Anyway, well, cool. Hope to see you guys next week. Love
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. Next week I'm out of town, but I will find a time following the assignment to do it on my own and submit it.
Okay,
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
And then,
There's another producer group that meets the hour prior to this. So I'm leaving there early to come here. So I'll always kind of just show up at the last minute, but hopefully I can actually log in next time.
is that Nick's group?
It is Nick's group. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been talking to him. He wants to actually bring your whole group and do this one day with us.
That would be great.
So
Then
yeah,
I won't be late that day because I'll
then you
already
won't be late that day. Yeah.
I just got to switch from the iPad to the actual thing with the stuff on it. But anyway, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If there was a time during the week, like an evening instead of Saturday mornings, would that be easier or afternoon?
Not sure. I mean, because pretty much people are always going to be home in the evenings or the weekend here. But as far as there's a standing Monday night appointment that I have, but otherwise I could do a weekday evening also.
I'm thinking about
Mind
it
that I
at
don't
some
use your
point.
time.
I'm pretty sure I will be doing this, having 2 a week. So this Saturday will continue, but I'll have another one for those who just want another one
Yeah.
or just can't do it on Saturday,
That might
So
be a nice flexible option.
yeah,
That'd be great. Yeah, evenings are generally pretty good for me, Wednesdays especially, but
Okay.
most evenings are usually pretty good if I've gotten my work done for the day. So.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for joining me. I won't keep you
Thanks
anymore.
for doing it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope to see you next week.
Sounds good. Have a great rest of the weekend.